hey there, welcome back. So, if you guys haven't heard of this term, which you definitely have if you've been studying with me, we're going to walk through the hypostatic union. Now, what is the hypostatic union? I've given you a huge hint. It's right on the board behind me. You've got that right. It's Jesus. And when we break down the hypostatic union, basically that's just a fancy theological term that we're using to barely and just claw our way at trying to understand who is Jesus, because really, who can understand him, right? So when we're talking about the hypostatic union, we're specifically talking about Jesus in his humanity and Jesus in his divinity. And do you remember what percent of God or what percent of Jesus is human? What percent of him is divine? If you answered 50-50, you're wrong, because Jesus is 100% human and 100% God. Now, you would say bad math, I'd say perfect God, right? So bad math, perfect theology we have here. So why is it important that we understand that Jesus is 100% human and 100% divine? Because this video could go for hours if I were to really unfold here as to how important understanding the difference, or I guess the importance of understanding why he's human and why he's divine 100% and who he is. I could spend hours. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try really hard to just focus in for about 5 minutes of your time as to why that's important. Like, think about it for a moment. When we talk about Jesus being 100% human, he's representing someone. Who is Jesus representing in his humanity? You guessed it. It's us. He's representing us. I think it's Paul who refers to him as the second Adam. And why would he be referred to as the second Adam? What did the first Adam not accomplish that Jesus is able to accomplish? You've got that right again. If you said that Jesus is perfect and Adam had sinned, you'd understand that this is why we call Jesus the second Adam. Adam was not able to live a life on this earth sinless. So it took a righteous requirement in human form to be able to fulfill all law, to be capable of being our perfect representative. Because if Jesus had any sin inside him at all, he would not have been able to die for us and to save us and represent us in our humanity. He wouldn't have been able to accomplish that. So it's important that Jesus was 100% human because he had to live as a representative for us, being 100% perfect, flawless, fulfilling all law. And like I said in the last video, he's not just fulfilling like 10 commandments. Jesus was fulfilling all law because that law comes from him and who his nature is in God. So we have Jesus in his humanity, and then we have Jesus in his divinity. Why is it important that God be divine? Let me give you one moment to think about why is it important that Jesus is not just human, but that he is divine. 100% divine. You got that right. We're talking about the resurrection. Without the resurrection, we'd be left hopeless. If there was no resurrection from the dead, how could Jesus offer us life? And how could that be possible if Jesus is not 100% God? So when we're talking about Jesus being 100% divine and the importance that it plays, we're saying that he needs to be divine in order to be God, in the sense that he is without sin, he is perfect, he is able to overcome death, something that a human could never ever do or accomplish. Even Adam, if you remember, was mortal. He was capable of dying. And while Jesus went through a physical death, God never died a spiritual death. So we have Jesus in his humanity and Jesus in his divinity. We can't have him just be divine, because then he wouldn't be a representative for us. We couldn't have him just be human, or there would be no resurrection. So why do we study Jesus, and why do we call it the hypostatic union? Once again, this is just a fancy theological term to try to barely grapple with our understanding of who Jesus is and why it's important that we know these things. He can't be 50-50 human. He can't be 50-50 divine. It can't be brought up that way in those types of fractions, or else Jesus wouldn't be able to do the things on our behalf for us. And he needs to possess all his power as God to be able to resurrect from the dead. So that's the hypostatic union. and we understand Jesus is 100% human, 100% divine, and just to break it down a little bit more clearly, when we are talking about divinity, we're talking about how much of is he of God? Is he 50% God and he's like the rest man? Is he like 70% God, the rest man? No, we're talking about he's 100% God. That's what we mean when we say he's 100% divine. All right, so that's a quick little review on the hypostatic union. It's important that we know who Jesus is because we have a video coming up that's going to explain why. Why is it important that we know who Jesus is? Because like I said, throughout all of these videos, I think I've been saying it over and over, I can teach you what all day long. I can teach you who all day long. But the most important thing that you need to walk away with and the most important question you can ask is, why are these things important? Anyways, I hope that you guys are having a great week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.